Mayor Adams appearing on Good Day New York today and addressing how the city has been dealing with the demand for social services.
Not only overburdens the system here in New York, but it also is unfair to those who were shoved out of Texas and sent to Washington and New York City.
Welcome everyone. Welcome to another video of just babbling nonsense. You guys, I hope that you find value in this video. If you do, give me a thumbs up, subscribe, hit the bell, wherever you're getting this information. I appreciate it, whatever platform. Also, share this with your family, your friends, and your neighbor. Yeah, today, so we're going over this whole immigration, illegal aliens, border crossers, whatever you want to call them. There seems to be a name out for them, whatever they are. Okay. I think there's statutes, there's laws in place that you cannot cross into the American side of the border without certain documents or your rights or, you know, that type of thing. Now, if I go to Canada, I have to have a passport or a license to show who I am that allows me to go in there, right? I have to show somebody that. Or if I go to Mexico. Same with if I go to the border of Canada and the United States, they're going to ask me for identification, okay? But it's a double standard going on here. And I think everybody's aware of it, but certain parties are overlooking it. And whatever you feel on immigration, this is the way I look at it. My grandparents were immigrants, both of them, both sides. So I don't have a problem with that. I think if you call Native Americans, they were immigrants. They didn't have borders. They just walked here. And before that, before the Ice Age, all that nonsense that went on back then, there was a group of people here. I mean, you could look at all the digging, you know, that type of areas in that field and find different cultures that were here for hundreds of thousands of years, right? So I don't think that's the issue. Okay, once you set up borders and you make laws, and this is your country, and you define certain cities, states, and country boundaries, then you have to live by that, correct? So whether it's Russia or China or any of the other countries in the world, they have borders. This is our country. We're defined by this area. So don't cross it unless you have permission, right? But in our country, in the United States, that definition is different. You can bring people over here and they don't have to show who they are, where they come from. I seen one video that they actually throw their ID away before entering the United States border because they don't want them to know who they are to send them back. Okay. So I think all these areas now, if they want to set up like a building on each border crossing area and close everything off and do what they did on Ellis Island years ago and document all these people coming in, where you coming from, this get you checked out, yada, yada, yada. I don't see an issue with that. That'll deter a lot of people from coming over here. You set a certain amount of people that you want coming over here that you can actually process if they have the means to have their own place to live, or if they have family or friends here that they can stay with, what's their purpose going to be once they're here, all that information. And that's not being, I mean, you do that when you get a loan, you do that when you get housing here, you do that when you buy a car, everything that you do in this country, you go get a job, you have to have information about what you're doing, right? And whatever that information is, whatever them guidelines are, you have to fill them out. Now, if you go get welfare, they want to know your income, who's living in the home, all these different items, but you can't have different set of rules for someone else. You just can't. It doesn't work that way. And by doing this, you impose these whole set of rules on a whole group of people that you have no idea where they're going or what they're going to be doing. I seen a report the other day that there's 250,000 children this month alone that were released, and who knows where they're going. And a lot of these kids that are released to individuals who are not in the up and up. I mean, who knows what they're doing with them? And why would you do that? I mean, to me, you have to have two individuals taking care of children. I mean, that's just the way it is, and that's the way time it started that way, right? So there's always been two-parent homes from the day that we were created here, and that's the way it is. I'm sorry if some people don't like it. A single person cannot raise a child. Oh, I'm sure they can. Okay, I shouldn't say that, but it's better to have two-parent home, right? A loving kid. And I always tell everybody, you can't love your kids enough. Okay, so if you're only getting love from one individual and that individual has to work or they're not supplying the basic needs that you have, okay, and even if you're in an environment where there's not a lot of money, but you have a two-parent home, I think that the child still, I mean, I don't know how many times I've heard kids get older. I didn't know we were poor. I didn't even realize not until I got older that we were poor, but that didn't affect me. Now you hear that all the time. So I don't think money's the issue. I think what the issue is putting these kids in someone else's home. I don't know who would have a kid and just throw them away like that. I don't understand that. We have adoption rules and laws and how they process all these kids and where the money's coming from. Okay, so, you might have different organizations like the Catholic League and all these other places, but where are they getting their money from? There's not tons of billions of dollars being donated to these places. And if the government's doing it, they're giving it all to each individual. So what do? You start your own, nonprofit just to get the money to send these kids off. I mean, look at the welfare system. Look at the children being placed in homes that they don't know. Their parents, the people living in the home, are not responsible for taking care of them. They don't care. They just want the money. So what about all these millions of kids that are being dropped off at the border? I mean, they have no idea who their parents are. I mean, you're setting up a whole generation of children. Let's say 10% of these kids actually find a life. I don't know, do something crazy. Let's do 90%. So 90% of these kids that go into these homes and they find something reliable, they go out in life and they present themselves in a manner that's respectable to other humans, right? They find a job, they get married, they have children, whatever the case may be, and they're respectable citizens. Okay, but what about the other 10%? I'm being lenient here. What about the other 10%? Okay, the other 10% is what? Criminals? I mean, you talk millions. Let's say 2 million. You take 10% of that, you got 200,000 neglected kids that have issues. I mean, there's the whole thing is wrong. Okay. It's wrong from the very start. I don't care if they have to be Europeans to come over here. There's reports that there's 46 different countries, people coming over here. They're not all South Americans. They're Asians and Europeans and all I don't know, name them all. 46 different countries. I don't have time to sit here and babble. Okay. I'm just saying. Let's look at one of these articles just recently. Okay, so on this one, we're looking at these people are being dropped off in New York City, right? So New York City sets up these areas where they can come in, they can get health insurance, they can get phones, food, housing, all that for free, right? And so one day it's going to be cut off. It's all cute and dandy. These people are thinking, wow, the administration's so great to us. Look at they're providing it. We didn't get this in New York. Look at how wonderful that is to live here, right? So this cat right here is Carlos. He's a 26-year-old from Venezuela. He's LBGQ plus or whatever they call him, and he's homeless, right, in Manhattan. They had problem with drugs. He's upset because these shelters that they're putting in, they're mentally ill. They have issues. They're violent. He doesn't want to stay there. Okay. But my only issue is, dude, didn't you have a plan when you came here? If you're going to come here, I think what's happening is all these people are getting reports that, yeah, the United States is the greatest place to live, right? You make it that way. But you don't come here expecting the handouts and say you're pissed because you didn't come up here with a plan or with money or a destination. You came here and you're going to be provided shelter, but you got to live with the homeless and you're pissed about it. Okay, so the other woman, her name is Veronica. She's 22 years old. Okay, she's pregnant, 6 months pregnant right here. She's 6 months pregnant. And she said when she came here, she got medical care. But now she's saying that in Manhattan is the only offered place to stay. It says right here that the immigrations gave me help at the hospital. But when they sent me here, I haven't received anything. Absolutely nothing. No medicine, she says. She hasn't even been asked for help. Okay. I'm totally baffled here. So who says that you get that? I don't understand. I mean, am I crying about this stuff? I don't go out there and say, hey, you know what? You guys ain't giving me free health care. You're not giving me free food, all these other things. And I live here. I was born and raised in the United States. I'm at a loss. I'm at a loss for words, folks. So this whole border issue, this whole immigration, if you want to call that, illegal aliens, border crossers, illegal border trespassing, I don't know.
Well, authorities along the U.S. border with Mexico say that they have apprehended a record number of migrants this year, and the total could surpass 2 million by the end of September.
You can see shoes, bags, water bottles. Clearly, this is a route for asylum seekers and others.
Yes, this is normally a route that they take.
Walking along the southern border with Maverick County Deputy Sheriff Denise Cantu, migrant crossings show no sign of stopping.
It's not going to work. This is a planned fail. Okay, it might not happen right now. That if they keep doing this, eventually it's going to break down tremendously. You're talking about this year alone, 2 million illegal immigrants or illegal border crossers or people that have been documented to come here. I don't care what you want to call them. I think it's wrong and it's illegal. Okay, according to our government, right? So. I just think it's a bad precedent, right? And there's nothing I can do personally about it. It's the people in charge. They need to set up a border that works. If they want to bring these people in by this many, they're going to have to put it all down there and set it up that way and just have certain sites that are allowed to process these people. If you want to do it that way, I don't have a problem with people coming here. They can come here by the millions, but they have to have a destination. I remember my grandparents came here. They had to have medical, statements. They had to have ID. They had to have a work, what they did for a living. What are they going to do when they come here? Do they have family? All these things. And if they didn't have any of that, they were sick, they sent them back. You can't come here. They wouldn't allow them. They had to go back with the ship that they came on. So I hope you guys found value in this video. I appreciate you listening. I appreciate you subscribing to my channel. If you would, give me a thumbs up, share this, comment. I don't care. You can have a negative comment. I appreciate that. It all helps them building the channel into a precise working machine. Okay. You guys have a wonderful day, and I will be with you next time on the next video. Have a great day.
I'm on the run. I've got no alibi for what I've done. Took what you treasure, and I'm never gonna give it up. I left these empty streets and hide within the shadows.